Hello! This video was recorded during our event Engaging Citizens and Civil Society in Interreg, held online on the 11th of March 2022. In this video, you will hear about a direct experience of high school students involved in monitoring activities of an Interreg co-funded project. The video is made up of three main parts, providing information on the main actors involved in this monitoring activity. In part 1, you will hear from Nora INWINKL and Gianmarco GUAZZO about At the School of Open Cohesion initiative. What is this initiative about and the engagement with high school students in monitoring activities. You will also hear about the upcoming plans and activities in cooperation with three Interreg programs. In part 2, Paola Ravelli from Europe Direct Lombardia will tell us about Europe Direct centers. What do they do in the territories and their supportive role in the monitoring exercise and how they facilitate the coordination between at the School of Open Cohesion, the Interreg programs and the high school students. Finally, in the last part, you will hear from Matteo Schiavini and Slaviana GHERASIMOVA, two students from Liceo da Vinci Pascoli Gallarate in Italy, about their monitoring experience, the different stages of this monitoring exercise, and the challenges encountered, as well as the key takeaway from this experience.
ASOC, as we see, is a program of civic education to develop digital skills to activities of civic monitoring of public funding in one's own community. We work especially with cohesion policy and we work with the high school. We started with a high school in 2013, as Besiana said before, and we started with 8 high school in the Italian territory. It was a pilot project, and now in this edition 21-22, we started in October with 203 schools participating. So I try to give you the dimension of the ASOC project and how it grows up in this last almost 10 years. So we are now closely to this very important birthday. My colleague Gianmarco will tell you after my intervention new initiatives, which means that it's not only these 203 team, we also have other collateral initiatives, very interesting, and something that is in relationship with the Interreg. This slide summarize. We have 4 lessons. Each lesson has different steps, and in these steps we give the teachers the instruments, the knowledge and the skills to let the students work together in class and work in their civic monitoring research. The role of the teachers is very, very fundamental, because for us it's impossible to follow 200 and more classroom directly. So we worked with the teacher, we support the teacher, also with the precious support of associations, of Europe Direct. And then the main job is done in classroom by the teacher with the students. Students create a teamwork and they divide themselves in different groups with different roles. So they start with the project design, then they collect data, analyze data, and produce output like an article of data journalism and infographic to communicate what they found with this data analysis. And then they go deep inside the project with the third lesson, explore. This is the more challengeful, but also I think the more interest part, because the third lesson is the lesson of the visit on the fields. So they go visit and do their interviews. In the pandemic moment, they use digital interview tool like the one we are using now, and they realize their monitor report that are published in this monitor platform, monitor.eu. And they also give some proposals, some solutions, some ideas, because we always said the monitors never ends up, it follows. The 4 lessons is the final part. This is about tell the stories. Each team decide how to tell the story of their research project, and they use very different tools, because they can make a video, they can make a presentation, they can make a comic, a podcast, and this is very important to stimulate their skills, also their fantasy, their creativity. And I think this is all for the main ASOC project description. I leave the floor to my colleague Gianmarco, and he will tell you something new we are doing in the last years.
Thank you, Nora, and thank you for inviting us to this important meeting. And now I will go through the international initiatives related to the At the School of Open Cohesion project, which has been explained by Nora. So this is, as you can see here, the overall dimension of the project as it is at European level, because in 2019, with the support and a collaboration of the European Commission, the DG Regio, was launched a call for expression of interest to all member states to get in the ASOC project, to transfer the Italian educational model beside the At the School of Open Cohesion project in other European countries. So 5 countries answered to this call for expression of interest and participate in the ASOC project. Namely Bulgaria, Croatia, Portugal, Spain, and Greece. So nowadays in this country, especially now in Spain and in Croatia, At the School of Open Cohesion is an autonomous project who works on its own legs. So European students now are becoming young monitorers, civic monitorers, on how public money is spent over their territories, so related to cohesion policy. So as you can see here now, these are the impressive numbers of our project. There are more than 30,000 secondary school students, high school students from over 1,200 classes employed, engaged in civic monitoring activities on about approximately 800 projects funded by the cohesion policy, and over 3,000 teachers and plenty of territorial networks, which means the very important support of the Europe Direct centers and the NGOs who collaborate to the ASOC projects, and also other institutional representatives, such as representatives of the National Institute of Statistics, for example, and the Ministry of Education, and so on. As you can see, as a result of this international broadening of the ASOC project, the educational contents of the project has been translated in 10 languages, as you can see here. So now the educational contents of the ASOC projects are available in English, French, German, Italian, of course, but also in Croatian, Bulgarian, Spanish, Catalan, Greek, and Portuguese. This thanks to the valuable support of the European Commission, the DG Regio, and also thanks to the support of the single managing authorities participating to the latest international initiative, and I will explain in a few, under the European Territorial Cooperation Programs, and so the Interreg projects. I like to stress out this point about the moment in which we live and the way in which the ASOC project go through all the difficulties and are related to the pandemic. And it was underlined also by the European Commission that the At the School of Open Cohesion project was one of the a few projects related to schools and to educational matters that was able to go on even during the pandemic and the most difficult period, which means the very beginning of the pandemic. That's because of the digital prerogative, the digital model included in the ASOC project, which allowed students and teachers to work together in a virtual space, of course, but to work for specific objectives and purposes. And it is a very we are very proud to say that all classes, all students and teachers involved, especially in the international and European pilot project launched in 2019, in 2020 and 2021 too, all the classes completed the educational path, delivering all the reports, including the final report. That's to say how is important when you have a structured model and of course with the support of all the territorial networks involved, and with a model with a specific purpose and objective to get. That's to say, to get more information and proposal on the project funded by cohesion policy of the territories, which means basically to become aware citizens. And so that's why in an important conference in Brussels 2 years ago, the CEO of the Open Government Partnership defined ASOC as one of the projects that should be spread all over the EU countries to improve citizen engagement. And that's what we are trying to do. And this is one of the reason why we launched this new initiative, this new pilot project within the ASOC framework that we call the ASOC ETC, which means ASOC European Territorial Cooperation, with the support of the Interreg programs. We collaborated with the managing authorities of the Interreg programs, in particular the Italy-Croatia Interreg program and Italy-France Maritime program, and also Italy-Austria, Italy-Switzerland, to launch a new pilot project based on the same educational model of the ASOC project, the mainstream ASOC project, but with the aim to involve high school pairs of schools working together in a twinning mode to monitor the projects related, of course, selected among the Interreg programs. So now, for example, we have pairs of schools from Italy and Croatia working as couples of schools, selecting the same project and working with a different perspective from their national perspective point of view. And so this is a new experimentation we launched. We are very confident that it will be successful, and we want to, of course, to extend it to promote again for the next years. And very important is the territorial support that can be provided and is provided in the case of this pilot project by the Europe Data Center Network.
Eurodirect is an official information network of European Union, and it is a network of 434 working edX, and it is one of the main tools of the European Commission to engage with the public on EU-related topics at local and regional level. So these centers are found in all the European member states and have been set up by the DG Communication of the European Commission. Europe Direct helps to bring the European Union closer to people on the ground and facilitate their participation in debate on the future of Europe. So their mission is to inform and communicate to citizens, and many of their activities involve schools, students, teachers, citizens in general, association. The project of School of Open Cohesion is based on 8 keywords. It helps students to discover some key issues that younger people will often meet. For example, both in the work context and in the context of civil activism. So, in concrete, what is the role of a network of Europe Direct Lombardia in the project of a School of Open Cohesion? Overall, create a strong network. So organize first meeting with the teachers, introduce the project, introduce the context of cohesion policies to help, for example, students to understand the project's baseline program, to read it, to identify the actions, the indicators, to observe the results, to observe the communication action. Then we plan a lesson on open data with the National Institute of Statistics, and we encourage a relationship among the students and school with beneficiaries, project leaders and partners. Then we try to find more information about the project. This is very important overall when it is not possible to find enough information online. So then we supporting them to plan a visit to the project on the ground and organize interviews to beneficiaries, managing authorities, and the project officer. And then we support the communication of the activities at local level to deal with the local authorities. So we began this experience in 2018 and 2019. Organized 2 big events, one in Lombardy region and another one was held at the JRC, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. In 2020, thanks to inclusion of Interreg project in the Open Cohesion portal, we were able to monitor the first Interreg project at the European level. So we chose a school in the cooperation area and propose Liceo Leonardo da Vinci Pascoli and propose them to monitor a cooperation project. So how do we start? At first, we disseminated the ASOC call for proposal at all Lombardy secondary schools. Then we selected a school in cross-border area interested in monitoring cooperation projects. Then we select a project co-funded by Interreg program through the Open Cohesion portal, and we create a network between teachers, between national team ASOC and the selected classes. Then we contact the managing authority of Interreg Italy, Switzerland to have more information on the project. Sometimes we use the well-known interactive tool keep.eu when we don't have enough information about the project. And then we met pupils and teachers with a specific lesson oriented to understand how a project is organized. For example, pay attention for the rule of budget, the deadline, and the communication. And then we ask for, to managing authority, to facilitate the first contacts with the lead partner, overall Swiss partner, but Italian too, to inform them that we are going to monitor and we are going to start with the action of the project. And at the end of the project, we help the students to amplify their communication. We organize a big event which brings together all the protagonists of the monitoring activities, and we support them with a specific communication campaign connected to the European DigiRegio campaign, Europe in My Region. And it's very important to underline that team ASOC Treni a Pedale received the first Europe Prize for monitoring the first Interreg project at European level in a period of difficult pandemic period. The Europe directs are widespread in all member states and in all cooperation areas too. So I think that all programs could contact Europe Direct to promote this kind of monitoring. And then I think that Europe Direct staff are ready to proactively engage with citizens and stakeholders so that they often feel more involved in the European project.
Good morning to you all. I'm Slaviana Gerasimova and I attend the 4th year of the Gymnasium Da Vinci Pascoli in Gallerate, course of studies Applied Sciences, and last year, supervised by our history and philosophy teacher Daniela Liberti, we joined the project proposed by A Scuola di Open Coesione. Our class, as mentioned before, has chosen to monitor the Interreg Ciclovia project, consisting in the development of a cross-border cycling mobility system between Italy and Switzerland, aiming at building a bike path between the provinces of Varese and Canton Ticino, also focused on mobilizing several stakeholders on the territory in order to raise awareness and promote sustainable mobility. Matteo and I are now going to present the steps we have followed in order to develop the project in our class, the problems we have faced, and moments which saw us mostly excited and engaged while working. I start by talking about the first phases of our work, while Matteo will describe you the heart of the project and the monitoring activity on the final part of the project. First of all, we must say that the ASOC team has offered teachers and students a project path strictly structured in various steps. On the one hand, it has prominently marked the course of our curricular teaching. In fact, on several occasions, our teaching was adapted to the project deadlines. But on the other hand, it has supported us in the realization of the work. Along with that, we would like to mention the constant and precious support that we have been given by the team of Europe Direct, and particularly by Francesca Uggioni, who has professionally and lovingly accompanied us in all the stages of our work through a constant interaction with our teacher in order to give us a help to empower the relationship with the public authorities. We will now present the steps of the project. We selected the Ciclovia from the Open Coesione portal, linked to integrated and sustainable mobility, which aroused our interest, as we are sensitive to issues of environmental sustainability and related to mobility and transport systems. With the support of representatives, which you can see on the slides, of Edic Lombardia, Paola Ravelli, and Francesca Oggioni, we've become better acquainted with the European structural investment funds and the cohesion policies. Following the indication of the ASOC team for the realization of the outputs of the step 1, we have opted for the name of Team Treni a Pedali, which means trains with pedals, referring to our course of studies of the 3rd year and to the transmodality. In our opinion, central to the development of functionalities bike to work and to school. So trains which fly with the help of the pedals of a bicycle. Basing on the interests and attitudes of each of us, specific tasks have been given to 5 teams of bikers. The first one, project manager. Matteo played the role of project manager and the head of research. The second, analysts and coders. The third, storytellers, with my contribution in this team, designers, and social media managers. Then, after a broader debate, we defined the research questions. We selected the data, created the logo, produced the canvas of the project, and wrote the documents about the research. And finally published report 1, ready for the second step, analysis. At this point, we had to explore the course of events of research and select the data necessary to describe the project background and the underlying problems to give an answer to. After that, we analyzed the matching between the project objectives and the impact hypothesis that was reasonably expected from the realization of 3 work packages. Work package 3, analysis and support assessments. Work package 4, implementation and management of the cycle route. Work package 5, action plan T-Ciclovia. We had 2 important meetings at the beginning. The former with the ISTAT contacts, Valentina Spinella and Lorenza Viviano, who held a training aimed at providing the basic elements of for navigation in the portal ISTAT and Eurostat. And the latter with the researcher of the association Aleph, Matilde Ceron, who held an interactive workshop to help us choose and use the most useful infographics to present the data of our research.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Matteo Schiavini, and I am Slaviana's classmate. In this survey phase, we have found a lot of useful data from the Ticino Ustat portal. Throughout the analysis, we have understood the main partners' project aims. On one hand, the Italian side was more interested in encouraging cycle tourism. On the other hand, the Swiss side was more focused on reducing border traffic. At that point, we conducted a survey, and despite the lockdown, a small delegation of our team read along the original project lane and verify the enjoyment of a new perspective bicycle lane. Once we possessed the background analysis, the data of the frontiers, flows between the 2 borders, the area tourism potential, we were ready to work on the second step, infographics and an article of data journalism, which were published on the school website. By reading a research document from Politecnico of Milano and analyzing the project history, we have discovered that the lane was changed due to a disagreement between the province of Varese and Ferrovie Nord Milano. Then we decided to interview the main persons in charge for T-Ciclovia in order to go into project details. Fortunately, both the interviews, Italian and Swiss representatives, reassured us about the mutual cooperation. Interviews made us learn about late timing work and other issues from the Italian partners. We have listed all the issues in our final monitoring report. Between March and June 2021, we contributed to draw up a questionnaire addressed to all the students in our school, stimulated teachers and students' representatives to fill in the form, cleaned and analyzed the data, prepared pivot tables with relevant graphs. We finally took part in actively organizing to the final to communicate the questionnaire edit. We think we have been able to give an operative and immediate contribution to our peers' awareness raising about the environment respect and sustainable mobility. Step 4. Telling the research. We just had to tell the researcher with a creative elaborate and animated video. In this context, we mainly gave a voice to the marvel at the discovery of our territory, its specific pollution and mobility problems, the ways in which the public authorities in Varese try to promote and support the cycling vacation of our territory, the administrative obstacles and the delays in the decision-making process, the backwardness of the intermodal integration of our transport system, the lack of a cycle path allowing a real bike to school, of our peers' laziness in implementing more sustainable and daily behaviors. The class was encouraged to reflect on the experience, the difficulties met, the skills developed, and the funniest or more significant moments. We felt the fatigue of working almost exclusively remotely, and we were sorry not to be able to meet the key subjects of our research in person. We were proud of the Europe award that was awarded to us. At the same time, we felt the regret of not being able to visit the institution in Brussels. To conclude, by participating in the GUAZZO project, we understood the importance of living in a vigilant and monitoring community. Our work was only a small contribution, but a great opportunity to become more active, aware, and involved citizens. The most important thing that we learned from this experience is how important and how crucial it is to be an active European citizens. Because most of us, before studying this experience, didn't feel like European citizens. Instead, at the end, in last June, we felt for the first time active and European citizens, and we think that it's the most important thing that we brought at home from this experience.